So good evening everyone. My name is Abhik Basak. I'm the Global Security Director for the company called LKQ Corporation. So we basically sell car parts. We are one of the Fortune 500 company in this world, and we are headquartered in Chicago. So before we start with the discussion, let's have a quick round of introduction with all our panelists. So over to you, sir.
Hi, I'm Satish Martin. Whatever I'm going to say here is going to be my opinion.
I'm Sunil Sonare, Vice President in Avinash IT System, and I have got more than 30 years experience, and I have been working towards that some kind of innovations in daily operational activities, so that how to control the cost with respect to not in IT, but we suggest and implement in the business, where business can grow well and IT become the enabler for the growth and prosperity of the business. Thank you.
Very good evening everyone. This is Kumar Vinod from Metadata. So I take care of the entire business for the enterprise market in India. Thank you so much for having us here.
Hi, this is Kush Kalwa. I'm a partner with Grant Thornton and look after the forensic technology and cyber incident response and data security as a whole. Coming with 20 years of experience, and thanks for being here. Thank you.
Thank you everyone. So as we all know, the topic this says that balancing innovation with cost control. So this is one of the very, you can say, the hot discussion topic in every boardroom, of the organization. So starting with you, sir, the question would be, what metrics or frameworks can be used to prioritize cybersecurity investments, balancing risk reduction with overall business objectives?
I think when we keep talking about innovation, I think it doesn't have to be large, which will impact the cost. But a small changing process or some small improvement in TAC can also be called an innovation, which helps us to improve the overall impact on the cybersecurity.
First of all, so that we know that if we talk about the cybersecurity framework and all kind of the how to control and protect our system, so then first of all, so then even I would like to quote that our Mahabharata, what that Sri Krishna told to Arjuna, Parth, मेरे come to under मेरे umbrella में आ जाओ, आपकी सारी प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व हो जाएगी. So then this is cybersecurity is not only limited only in the IT or cybersecurity officer's perspective or its responsibility. It's about whole responsibility of the organizations, where each individual plays to role how to protect the system. And first, we all talking about the data, and data is most important to take the decisions for the board member, management also. So then when we starting about the data and everything, so then we must know what each and every individual's roles and the responsibilities. So then we read every day, and we come to know through various media channels that this kind of the security breach is happening, this kind of threats are happen, and business is losing that much of the dollars and Indian rupees also. So then we must make aware each and every individual in the organization what their responsibilities also with respect to protection of the data, and that if we will follow this kind of the very simple rules and regulations, that will make some sense to build good framework to protect everything with the cost, and system will be protected and threat will be avoided without any cost also.
Well said. So over to you, Mr. Kumar. The question for you would be, how can organizations effectively justify the cost of implementing new cybersecurity technologies and innovations, especially when budgets are limited?
Thank you, Abhik. The first thing that there is a lot of changes that we have observed while interacting with a lot of the technology leaders in the market. So there was a time when IT used to be treated as one of the cost center where it is just like a very investing the cost and all. But the time has changed with a lot of digital transformation coming into place. From the cost center, it is becoming one of the business center, right? Where it is also equally important and investing in the business growth. Yes, so there are a couple of very important parameters in terms of how we can justify the innovations and the cybersecurity investment that we are going to do in the ITs. Couple of things comes is that what kind of a cyber risk or any IT risk vis-a-vis which can convert into a business risk. So this is one of the very important aspects that if I'm going to adopt any innovations or any technologies, how much business risk it can mitigate, right? And what are the typical kind of investment which can be making on those innovations, right? So the second parameter in terms of making certain productivity and efficiency. So there are certain innovations that we are bringing on the table. How that it is effectively increasing the productivity as well as efficiency of the internal team matters a lot. As well as the last point, which is very critical, which I would say that considering the kind of changes that are happening in the market, considering the kind of cyber impact and that risk which is coming in the market, how much risk that we want to take, how much data breach can cost to a company, at the same time what brand equity it can impact. So these are the couple of important aspects while doing any innovations. We can always put forward while having a discussion in the boardroom to ensure that these kinds of costs which can actually impact a big and a large company vis-a-vis the kind of a small investment which ideally we can do to ensure that these all framework, these all pointers can be achieved. So yeah, these are the few pointers which I can think can be the major aspect. Thank you.
So basically, risk is, you can say, the decisive factor of what should be innovated, and how we can reduce the cost. So yeah. So keeping risk in mind. So the next question to you, Mr. Kush, what is the risk associated with not updating legacy systems, and how can organizations de-risk the modernization process to both innovate and reduce cost burdens?
Sure. So, definitely in today's world where technology is evolving rapidly, as a incident responder, I have seen a lot more incidents happening because of the legacy systems. There are certain applications which cannot be updated for whatever reason because they are in the production. Downtime is going to have a huge financial impact, and there is a hesitance at the CXO level, at the board level, that why is it required? And when some incident happens, then the damage that is caused is multi-fold, and that needs to be addressed. So definitely the legacy systems, definitely the maintenance cost is high. The cyber attacks, definitely, I don't have to even talk about it. The implications are huge, right? But how to defect the risk is something definitely, if you ask me, the best is, just upgrade the complete system, but definitely I understand there are certain scenarios where there is a hesitance and it cannot be done immediately, it can be phased out slowly and steadily. So I think the one is definitely there needs to be a protection layer. Protection layer can be in different forms and factors. One is absolutely use of protected APIs, the way it is communicating is absolutely, it does make sense to have a secure API through which, the systems are interacting. The other is definitely, have a hybrid model. If there are certain things which can be migrated to cloud, definitely, that can be done. The whole load need not be there on the legacy system only because the chances are high it will eventually crash if a lot more resources are used on it. And definitely, there has to be a constant communication with the clients or to the customers who that specific legacy system is serving, that we are in phase of upgrading the systems and there will be some downtime, and give like 4 weeks, 5 weeks time heads up that this is what is going to happen, so that the customers and the clients are well aware of it. Last and not the least, when everything falls, when everything fails, I always recommend my clients that have a cyber insurance in place, but make sure that cyber insurance is covering the damage caused by the legacy systems. But yeah, I think those are a few of the factors which I would say will de-risk these things.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty well understood. So, the next question over to you, sir, would be, what are the common pitfalls organizations fall into when trying to balance innovation and cost control, and how can these be avoided?
When we keep talking about innovation, one of the biggest risks which we feel is that success over the
Exactly.
That's one of the biggest problems we face. Okay, so I think he was talking about the legacy system. Okay, when we keep talking about shifting the legacy system to a modern system, the first question comes, so we call it as innovation. The first question comes is, my application is very important. If it goes down, then there will be so much of impact. But I think nobody try to take a risk and then analyze it. So every time you don't have to replace the application completely, but you can make it in phases. Maybe normally we start from the scratch. I'll always say start from the top, get the output, generate the output, and see what is the impact. Then go in reverse. Because normally whenever we talk about legacy system, the important feedback which we get from the customer or the end user is मेरा application बहुत important है, दोनों का तो problem और इसका कोई support नहीं है, which is not the true scenario in a modern world. Okay, so this is what I feel is the right way of life.
Yeah, understood. So anything you want?
That if we are talking about that this something in the legacy system or something, so then we must understand that nowadays technology is not a cost factor. So that way we are going towards the technology age, so then this R&D and other perspective, that cost of the technology is becoming very respectively low. That only major factor is the adoption, and nowadays some biggest challenge with the technology heads or CIOs with what need to that adoption of the technology, because every 5 years that system is changing. So then they need to understand, so then what kind of the system they need to be deployed, so then at least that system or any technology run at least 10 to 15 years. And that kind of the systems available in that market or even in that industries also. And very good example that our defense system adopt such kind of the system. Like some of that in the government organization, you see that this metro rail or this ISRO satellite, or even you can say that defense, drone technology, and other kind of the systems with respect to networking, cyber security, and any kind of the devices. So then when they see, so then they look some kind of the very long range of this end of the life, managing. Otherwise, the people will be busy in managing their changing the system, their managing their patchwork, managing their some kind of framework, adoption of the new technology. And this will be the big challenge. So then we need to be very careful while adopting technology. And with respect to legacy system, it will be easily migrated with the modern technology, modern system, and lot of options are available.
Yeah. So, Mr. Kumar, a question for you. What are the common pitfalls organizations fall into when trying to balance innovation with cost control, and how this can be avoided?
First thing that I can now just figure from the standpoint that something which is very commonly happening is a change. And change is something which is constant, is inevitable. We can't make things which is not happening. So one very common aspect which I believe that we should always adopt with the change in the technology is that whatever the new technologies which is coming in the market, how best it is serviced with us, and to that technology is how the changes within the system can be adopted. So these are a couple of factors that I can see of, and most importantly, I would say that collaboration within the team. So because we have multiple team, multiple department who works in tandem with the IT and different departments. So collaboration is something where I feel is one of the important aspects to ensure that all this ecosystem can work very well. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Over to you, Mr. Kush. So for you, the question would be, how can organizations demonstrate the ROI of cybersecurity initiatives to stakeholders who may not fully understand the associated risks?
So we need to first understand that once upon a time when there are people who don't understand technology. Absolutely, they don't understand the technology, but they absolutely understand the risks that are associated with these cyber attacks or what the perpetrators are up to. And explaining these days is much easier than what it was few years back. And if someone is still not understanding, absolutely fine. But then we have to, as a cyber expert, I will explain the loss that will be there or that the other company of the same sector has gone through. So these days, if you see, this year it's a pure, for the attackers, it's the insurance companies that, they are attacking the insurance industry. Last year it was healthcare, and these are the regulated entities. Now, when I talk to the board or the CXOs, it's easier to have the conversation. They will still say, why is this needed? But when some incident happens, trust me, it's like a completely different conversation that I have than to go ahead and then, before the incident, if I say, okay, this is what is required, they will say, okay, this is not the priority. The priority is something else because I have to run my business. And same goes for the startups, for the vibrant Bharat, for the digital Bharat that our Prime Minister's vision is, and that where I'm sure the leaders like us have the vision to drive this country digitally. The idea is definitely to have a secure digital Bharat, not just a digital Bharat. And it will happen when everyone really understands what does it take or what is the loss if we are not focusing on the cyber while balancing out with the business that we are doing it. A lot of startups that I deal with, a lot of investors I deal with, and when cyber attack happens, then I understand that okay, there is no Active Directory that is there is no single sign-on, there is no antivirus. Forget antivirus these days. Antivirus I will not even recommend. I'll go for the EDR, XDR, or MDR. But that's where the problem lies, and that's when I start talking about the cyber due diligence, why is it required, and the ROI, and so on and so forth. It does make sense, and it clicks really quick. And when there is a crisis situation, when cyber hits hard to my clients, for me, closing the deal is like 5 minutes, not beyond that. Because if someone is taking more than that, then I think he is still not serious about it. That's my first point. The second is, these days, the ROI, getting the ROI is really easy. You make use of artificial intelligence. You outsource the work to the professionals, let's say the SOC and the SIEM. Does it make sense for the organization to have in-house SOC SIEM? If it is a banking sector and they have like a lot of EPS, events per second, yes, the answer is yes. But if the core business is something which is not regulated or which is where there are not too many EPS, then absolutely outsource it, and that's going to be much cheaper than what it will cost them to have in-house setup. So, these are the factors I would say where the non-tech person will really understand. It is just that as a cyber experts, as the IT professionals, we need to quantify the financial loss rather than saying, okay, I need to invest into this thing. That's not going to click any of the board members or any of the CXOs. What is going to click is, if you are not going to implement this, these are the financial repercussions. This is the brand loss that we will have. And why I say this? Because I have seen incidents happening in the same sector, of the same profile that our business is in. And because it has happened, I'm telling you, the same may happen to us as well. How many of you have heard about Basak? Basak, case that happened last year. 2,000 crores were taken out from the cold wallet, not from the hot wallet. And that's the company has stopped their operations. And I've seen it's like what 20 years I've been doing incident response, and that's what I do for my living. I have seen the companies shutting down. I have seen CISO's career going completely down south just because of one cyber incident. I was in US for 3 years, and I've seen the maturity they have still, the same problem. So I think explaining the ROI is really easy, but it needs to be converted to the financial loss that the company may go for if they don't implement certain technology. That's my 2 cents.
Exactly. So the bottom line, just wanted to add one line. So just the bottom line is, when it comes to cyber security, we are not the business and revenue generators, but we are the revenue protectors.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, my last question would be to the panelists. So, anyone can chip in. What are some practical strategies for optimizing the budget allocation between preventive measures and reactive measures?
First of all, so then while making the budget, so then first then we are not like preventive threats or security, and we need to ensure that how our system is protected. So then what Mr. Wadhwa said, so then this is ROI when we are talking about the cyber security risk, that ROI is not calculated based on that what will be the financial losses. There are much more beyond that also. So then first of all, so then when we are protecting our systems, our infrastructure, so that is not only related to that system and everything, but it's a company's entire organization. This is the branding, completely data also, and it's more of the information. It goes to their competitors. There's some kind of the IPs also. So then we need to protect each and every aspect of the company. And even this will be again challenges will be coming in the near future when this DPDP Act will be entirely noticed, and that will be adoption will be happening in every organization, every company. That will be again a challenge, and this will be challenges not only for this IT departments, CISO, but entire HR, finance, operations, functions, head of. Because this will be the big challenge, and this is very compared to not to the GDPR, but even equivalent to same. This is going to be happening, and we need to be very careful. And first of all, so then we need to align our priorities based on that, what is important for the organization, and align our budget in respect of.
I think one more aspect which I can give is IT is not responsible for this. The important part is it's not IT's data, it's our data. Okay, so everybody is equally responsible when we keep talking about the risk. So when we create a budget, we need to make all the business aware that this is not IT's responsibility. We are just executors. We are just what you can say managers. Okay, but the responsibility lies with all the people. Okay. Second part is I think it's like a medical or life insurance. So till you die or till you feel sick, this is not going to function for you. So you will not see the ROI, or maybe it's very difficult for us to prove that I can save so much, I cannot save so much. But the important part is we should predict based on the similar domain experiences or maybe some expertise available in industry, which will help us to build the budget. Okay, and this is going to be investment. This is not going to be money.
Absolutely.
Just to add a couple of more points, so while of course doing the IT budgeting, one important aspect in terms of business downtime. Because there may be certain factors which can be very critical in terms of impacting the business downtime. So what are the costs which is impacting because of the downtime? What is the business cost that we are going to be associating? And the second factor, which is very predominantly nowadays, we are talking about the regulatory compliance. So these are the two major aspects which is indirectly, or I would say directly, impacting the overall business and the financial risk. So yes, these two factors must have to be considered for planning the budgeting for the IT side of it.
Very relevant questions, how to balance out between the proactive and the reactive services, where to put money and where not to. 5 years down the line, incident response was something which not much people must have heard about. Okay, incident response, okay, some incident happened. But now the world we are living in, it is regulated in the BFSI sector, where definitely for the insurance companies and its intermediaries, IRDI has mandated to have a third party, vendor or service provider retained as a retainership program, so that just in case something goes wrong, you have the incident responder with you. If you don't have a full time in your team, still, even if it is there, you need it. Why you need it? Because there has to be an independent report that needs to be submitted to the regulators. So definitely, on a need basis, absolutely retainership is must, specifically for the BFSI sector, because SEBI is equally, if not less, but yes, it's equally regulated, and they are going hard on the incident responders. And just FYI, if you're not aware of it, when some incident happens, these days IT is getting involved, and I'm telling you with my experience, because I am dealing with incidents day in and day out, and IT steps in and IT goes to next level for identifying what exactly happened, because incidents are a problem for the country. The data is going out, data is being used for all the wrong reasons, and they want to know what exactly happened, be it a financial loss or be it a loss for data. So proactive side is must. I'm not denying it. That has to be there. The investment needs to be there. But the reactive side is really, really important, because if you don't, and I have seen, by the way, on the BFSI sector, I cannot name the clients. I have seen the clients where they don't report to the regulators. They don't report to the certain. And by the law of the country says it has to be reported in 6 hours. 6 hours does not mean you have to do the complete analysis, but you have to report, and they don't report. So I think it is must. Reactive side is becoming more and more prominent for the industries to understand how crucial it is. Investment may not be the upfront, but a planning needs to be done. Incident response preparedness needs to be done. Just in case something goes down south, what is my plan of action? What is that my the core team is going to do before the doctor comes in and identifies what exactly the problem is? So it has to be balanced out between the two. Both are equally important in the world that we are living in.
Exactly. I think I've covered all the points. So, any questions from the audience before we wrap up this session? Okay, so I take that as a no. So, thank you very much for all your insights. I think it's really very insightful, and please give us all a happy round of applause. Thank you.